Information Catalog, 30 pages only. Introduction. Hockey is a term used to denote various types of both summer and winter team sports which originated on either an outdoor field, sheet of ice, or dry floor such as in a gymnasium. There are many types of hockey. Some games make the use of skates, either wheeled or bladed. Ice skates are metal blades attached underfoot and used to propel the bearer across a sheet of ice while ice skating, while others do not. In order to help make the distinction between these various games, the word hockey is often preceded by another word, i.e., field hockey, ice hockey, roller hockey, rink hockey, or floor hockey. We will see these all in detail later. In each of these sports, two teams play against each other by trying to maneuver the object of play, either a type of ball or a disc. In geometry, a disc is the region in a plane bounded by a circle. A disc is said to be closed if it contains the circle that constitutes its boundary, and open if it does not. Such as a puck, a hockey puck is either an open or closed disc used in a variety of sports and games. There are designs made for use on an ice surface, such as in ice hockey, and others for the different variants of floor hockey. They are all designed to serve the same function a ball does in ball games, into the opponent's goal using a hockey stick. A hockey stick is a piece of sports equipment used by the players in all the forms of hockey to move the ball or puck either to push, pull, hit, strike, flick, steer, launch or stop the ball puck during play, with the objective being to move the ball puck around the playing area using the stick, and then trying to score. Two notable exceptions use a straight stick and an open disc, still referred to as a puck, with a hole in the center instead. The first case is a style of floor hockey whose rules were codified in 1936 during the Great Depression. The worldwide Great Depression of the early 1930s was a social and economic shock that left millions of Canadians unemployed, hungry and often homeless. Few countries were affected as severely as Canada during what became known as the Dirty 30s, due to Canada's heavy dependence on raw material, by Canada's Sam Jacks. Samuel Perry Jacks, more commonly known as Sam Jacks, was a Canadian soldier in World War II, Canadian inventor, military and civic recreation director, sports coach, creator of the Canadian sport of ringet for girls, and the Canadian credited with codifying the first set of rules for floor hockey in 1936, a game which he created. He was born in Glasgow. The second case involves a variant which was later modified in roughly the 1970s to make a related game that would be considered suitable for inclusion as a team sport in the newly emerging Special Olympics. The floor game of gym ringet. Ringet is a girls' non-contact winter team sport played on an ice rink using ice hockey skates, straight sticks with drag tips and a blue, rubber, pneumatic ring designed for use on ice surfaces. Created in Canada in 1963, ringet is one of the most popular team sports for females in Canada and is the last team sport in history to have been created exclusively for the female sex. As a result, the entire elite level of the sport is represented by female athletes instead of male athletes, which makes the sport different from almost all other organized team sports. Though related to floor hockey, is not a true variant due to the fact that it was designed in the 1990s and modeled off of the Canadian ice skating team sport of ringet, which was invented in Canada in 1963. Ringet was also invented by Sam Jacks, the same Canadian who codified the rules for the open disc style of floor hockey in 1936. In most of the world, the term hockey by itself refers to field hockey, while in Canada, the United States, Russia and most of Eastern and Northern Europe, the term usually refers to ice hockey. In more recent history, the word hockey is used in reference to either the summer sport of field hockey, which is a stick and ball game, and the winter ice team skating sports of bandy and ice hockey. This is due to the fact that field hockey and other stick and ball sports and their related variants preceded games which would eventually be played on ice with ice skates, namely bandy and ice hockey, as well as sports involving dry floors such as roller hockey and floor hockey. However, the hockey, referred to in common parlance, often depends on locale, geography, and the size and popularity of the sport involved. For example, In Europe, hockey more typically refers to field hockey, whereas in Canada, it typically refers to ice hockey. In the case of bandy, the game was initially called hockey on the ice, and preceded the organization and development of ice hockey, but was officially changed to bandy in the early 20th century in order to avoid confusion with ice hockey, a separate sport. Development of the game hockey. The first recorded use of the word hockey is in the 1773 book Juvenile Sports and Pastimes, to which are prefixed memoirs of the author, including a new mode of infant education by Richard Johnson, sued Master Michelangelo, whose chapter 11 was titled, New Improvements on the Game of Hockey. The belief that hockey was mentioned in a 1363 proclamation by King Edward III of England is based on modern translations of the proclamation, which was originally in Latin and explicitly forbade the games, pilum manualem, pedivam, and bacularem, and at canibucam and gallerum pugnum. The English historian and biographer John Strype was an English clergyman, historian and biographer, did not use the word hockey when he translated the proclamation in 1720, instead translating canibucam as cambuc. This may have referred to either an early form of hockey or a game more similar to golf or croquet. The word hockey itself is of unknown origin. One supposition is that it is a derivative of hoquet, a Middle French. Middle French is a historical division of the French language that covers the period from the 14th to the 16th century. It is a period of transition during which, word for a shepherd's stave, a shepherd's crook is a long and sturdy stick with a hook at one end, often with the point flared outwards, used by a shepherd to manage and sometimes catch sheep. In addition, the crook may aid in defending against attack by predators. When traversing rough terrain, a crook is an aid too. The curved, or hooked, ends of the sticks used for hockey would indeed have resembled these staves. Another supposition derives from the known use of cork bungs, stoppers, in place of wooden balls to play the game. The stoppers came from barrels containing hock, ale, also called hockey. Some important questions. What is hockey? Hockey is a type of sport in which players try to get points by hitting an object into the other team's goal with a stick. Others believe hockey came from the French word hoquet, which means shepherd's stick. WHO invented hockey. The development of the modern version of organized ice hockey played as a team sport is often credited to James Crichton. In 1872, he moved from Halifax, Nova Scotia to Montreal, bringing skates, hockey sticks, and a game with a basic set of rules with him. Why hockey is everyone's favorite game? Hockey is ranked as many people's favorite game. The game is the most interesting outdoor game in my view, as there is too much life and energy going on in the game. Hockey keeps all the players busy, both physically as well as mentally. Why to play hockey? It takes cooperation, teamwork and respect to succeed on and off the ice. Hockey teaches those skills, while also creating new friendships. Hockey gives children an engaging, fast-paced, healthy alternative to sedentary recreation. Skating is low impact and adult hockey participation is on the rise. 05 Nov 2019. Why is hockey so popular? Many people get into supporting a certain team as a result of family tradition, and this can bring people together. Finally, ice hockey is still extremely popular to this day because really anyone can play. This means that many people grow up playing ice hockey at school or in their free time with friends. 14 July 2021. Why ice hockey is the hardest sport? Ice hockey is a tough sport. The game is played in 3 intense periods of 20 minutes. The players are trained to be aggressive, both physically and emotionally, and require great strength and stamina. Ice hockey is a technical game and requires the player to be attentive at all times. Is hockey hard to learn? Easy to learn the rules and play with others at your skill level, but very difficult to master. Originally answered, why is ice hockey a really hard sport to play? First, you must learn to skate well. There's a whole sport around just this skill, called figure skating. Introduction to hockey. Hockey is believed to date from the earliest civilizations. The Arabs, Greeks, Persians, and Romans each had their own versions, and traces of a stick game played by the Aztec Indians of South America have been found. Hockey can also be identified with other early games, such as hurling and shinty. What is the aim of hockey? The aim of the game is to maneuver the hockey ball around the other players with your hockey stick and to score a goal against the other team. Goals are scored by hitting the ball into a net much like a small soccer net, but you have to make it past the goalkeeper. What is ball called in hockey? The ball. Ice hockey uses a puck. What are the skills of hockey? 5 important skills for field hockey. First touch. You want your first contact with the ball to take it toward open space. Leading. Hitting. Passing. Flat stick tackling. What does bully mean in hockey? Hockey noun. A method by which a game is restarted after a stoppage. 2 opposing players stand with the ball between them and alternately strike their sticks together and against the ground 3 times before trying to hit the ball. What is 16 in hockey? The 16-yard hit is a free hit for the defense 16 yards. For those of us who live in the metric universe, that's 14.63 meters, from the baseline after an opposing player hits the ball over the baseline or commits a foul within the shooting circle. 02 April 2017. History of hockey. Where did hockey originate? Who set down the first rules of the modern game? What was the FIH set up to do? Whether you are a history buff or simply want to impress your mates with your knowledge of the game, discover more about the history of hockey below. Hockey and its origins. The roots of hockey are buried deep in antiquity. Historical records show that a crude form of the game was played in Egypt 4,000 years ago and in Ethiopia around 1000 BC, whilst an ancient form of the game was also played in Iran in around 2000 BC. Various museums offer evidence that a form of the game was played by the Romans and Greeks as well as by the Aztecs several centuries before Columbus arrived in the New World. The modern game of hockey emerged in England in the mid-18th century and is largely attributed to the growth of public schools, such as Eton. The first hockey association was formed in the UK in 1876 and drew up the first formal set of rules. The original association survived for just 6 years but, in 1886, it was revived by 9 founding member clubs. Hockey and the Olympics. The inaugural Olympic hockey competition for men was held in London in 1908 with England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales competing separately. With the addition of Germany and France, the competition ran with 6 teams. After having made its first appearance at the London Games, hockey was subsequently dropped from the 1912 Stockholm Games after host nations were granted control over optional sports. It reappeared in 1920 in Antwerp after pressure from Belgian hockey advocates before being omitted again in Paris in 1924. The formation of the International Hockey Federation in 1924 was not soon enough for the Paris Olympics, but it did grant hockey re-entry in Amsterdam in 1928. Hockey has been on the program ever since, with women's hockey included for the first time in Moscow in 1980. Hockey and the FIH. Motivated by hockey's omission from the 1924 Paris Games, the Fédération Internationale de Hockey sur Gazon, FIH, was founded by Paul Liuty. M. Liuty, who would later become the first president of the FIH, called together 7 national federations to form the sport's international governing body. These founding members, which represented both men's and women's hockey in their countries, were Austria, Belgium, Czechoslovakia, France, Hungary, Spain and Switzerland. Popularized in the late 19th century, the women's game developed quickly in many countries. In 1927, the International Federation of Women's Hockey Associations, IFWA, was formed. After celebrating their respective golden jubilees, the FIH in 1974 and the IFWA in 1980, the 2 organizations came together in 1982 to form the current FIH. By 1964, there were already 50 countries affiliated with the FIH, as well as 3 continental associations, Africa, Pan America and Asia, and in 1974, there were 71 members. Today, the International Hockey Federation consists of 5 continental associations, 137 national associations and is still growing. What is India's national sport? Hockey. WHO invented hockey in India. However, the first version of modern-day field hockey was developed by the British sometime between the late 18th and early 19th century. It was introduced as a popular school game then and made its way to the Indian Army during British rule in the 1850s. Why is hockey not famous in India? India has few AstroTurf grounds, which are very expensive to play and difficult to play, while grass on which hockey had been played internationally for a century allowed skilled Indian and Pakistani players to trap the ball, dribble and pass. Why is hockey called hockey? The name hockey, as the organized game came to be known, has been attributed to the French word hoquet, shepherd's stick. Early hockey games allowed as many as 30 players a side on the ice, and the goals were 2 stones, each frozen into one end of the ice. When did hockey start in India? In India, the first club was founded in Calcutta in 1885-86, and Bombay and Punjab quickly followed suit. The Indian hockey team made its Olympic debut at the 1928 Amsterdam Games, winning its first Olympic gold medal without conceding a single goal. What is the rank of hockey in India? India, with 2,296.038 ranking points, will close the year trailing Tokyo 2020 champions Belgium and toppers Australia. The Tokyo Olympics finalists Australia, 2,642.25 points, and Belgium, 2,632.12, are separated by just 10 points. The Netherlands are fourth with 2,234.33 points, followed by Germany men at 5th. 24-2021. Why hockey is not played on grass? While grass, on which hockey had been played internationally for nearly a century, allowed skilled Indian and Pakistani players to trap the ball, dribble and pass, AstroTurf suits the physicality of European and Australian hockey players based on raw power rather than technical skill. AstroTurf grounds were not laid. 15 Jan 2013. Which country started hockey? The modern game of hockey emerged in England in the mid-18th century and is largely attributed to the growth of public schools, such as Eton. The first hockey association was formed in the UK in 1876 and drew up the first formal set of rules. WHO is the father of hockey in India. Chand is most remembered for his goal-scoring feats and for his 3 Olympic gold medals, 1928, 1932, and 1936, in field hockey, while India was dominant in the sport. Where did hockey start in India? The game was introduced in India during the British Raj. The first hockey club in India was established in Calcutta in 1855. The Bengal Hockey was the first hockey association in India and was founded in 1908. India competed in the Olympics held in Amsterdam for the first time in 1928. History. Games played with curved sticks. A hockey stick is a piece of sports equipment used by the players in all the forms of hockey to move the ball or puck, either to push, pull, hit, strike, flick, steer, launch or stop the ball puck during play, with the objective being to move the ball puck around the playing area using the stick, and then trying to score, and a ball can be found in the histories of many cultures. In Egypt, 4,000-year-old carvings feature teams with sticks and a projectile. Hurling. Hurling is an outdoor team game of ancient Gaelic Irish origin, played by men. One of Ireland's native Gaelic games, it shares a number of features with Gaelic football, such as the field and goals, the number of players, and much terminology. There is a similar game for women called camogie. It shares, dates to before 1272 BC in Ireland, and there is a depiction from approximately 600 BC in ancient Greece. Ancient Greece was a northeastern Mediterranean civilization, existing from the Greek Dark Ages of the 12th-9th centuries BC to the end of classical antiquity, that comprised a loose collection of culturally and linguistically related city-states and other territories, unified only once, for 13 years, under Alexander the Great's empire, where the game may have been called Kutsain or Kappa Epsilon or Eta Tau Zeta Epsilon Iota Nu, because it was played with a horn or horn-like stick, Keras, Kappa Rho Alpha. In Inner Mongolia, officially the Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region, is a landlocked autonomous region of the People's Republic of China. Its border includes most of the length of China's border with the country of Mongolia. Inner Mongolia also accounts for a small section of China's border with Russia. Its capital is Hohhot. The Doi. The Doi people are a Mongolic people in northeast China. The Doi form one of the 56 ethnic groups officially recognized in the People's Republic of China. They numbered 131,992 according to the latest census, 2010, and most of them live in Morin Dava Doi Autonomous Banda in Hulunba, Inner Mongolia and Meilai Doi district in Qikihar, Heilongjiang of China. People have been playing Baikao. Boku Tukbei or Doi hockey is a game similar to field hockey or street hockey. It has been played for about 1,000 years by the Doi people, an ethnic group from Inner Mongolia, China, a game similar to modern field hockey, for about 1,000 years. Most evidence of hockey-like games during the Middle Ages. In the history of Europe, the Middle Ages or medieval period lasted approximately from the 5th to the late 15th centuries, similarly to the post-classical period of global history. It began with the fall of the Western Roman Empire and transitioned into the Renaissance and the Age of, is found in legislation concerning sports and games. The Galway. Galway is a city in the west of Ireland, in the province of Connaught. It is the county town of County Galway, which is named after it. It lies on the River Corrib between Lough Corrib and Galway Bay, and is the 6th most populous city on the island of Ireland and the 4th most populous in the Republic. Statute enacted in Ireland in 1527 banned certain types of ball games, including games using hooked, written, hockey, similar to hooky, sticks. At no time to use ne occupy the holding of the little ballet with hockey sticks or staves, nor use no hande ball to play without walls, but only great foot ballet. By the 19th century, the various forms and divisions of historic games began to differentiate and coalesce into the individual sports defined today. Organizations dedicated to the codification of rules and regulations began to form, and national and international bodies sprang up to manage domestic and international competition. Equipment. Protection. Shoulder pads. Hockey stick. Puck or ball. Rules. Every sport has its own set of rules and regulations, and hockey is no exception. Many are usually confused between field hockey and ice hockey. Today, we are going to iron out all the confusion between them. We'll not look to bore you with the intricate details, so we have singled out the 10 crucial rules you have to know to kickstart your field hockey journey. It doesn't matter if you are only going to be watching hockey or if you are going to start playing it yourself. This guide is bound to come in handy. 1. How many players and teams are there on a hockey field? Only 2 teams of 11 players each are allowed on the field at once, 10 field players and 1 goalie. However, there's an unlimited amount of times a team can sub in and out at any given time. This gives sufficient time for players to rest, especially for beginners. Can you imagine sprinting around the field without a break? 2. Are you allowed to kick the ball? This isn't football, so no, you cannot kick the ball. Players are only allowed to hit the ball with the flat side of their stick, except for the goalkeepers, who are allowed to use their body or feet to prevent the opponent from scoring. If you lose control and accidentally kick the ball, you are not allowed to continue dribbling the ball. If you purposely kicked the ball to gain an advantage, you would automatically lose possession of the ball, and if you sneakily tried to kick the ball but it didn't gain you any advantage at all, then play would continue. 3. How high can you swing your hockey stick? In the game of field hockey, you are not allowed to swing your stick higher than your shoulders. When you are taking a free hit or starting a corner, You cannot backswing your stick too high, as that would be considered dangerous. You wouldn't want to hit your opponent or your teammate in the process. Safety is the utmost important thing in every sport, and with a fast-paced, exhilarating game like hockey, you'd want to take extra care not to injure yourself or any other players. For how many people are allowed to challenge for a ball? What's unique about hockey is, only 2 players are allowed to touch the ball at one time. If a third player interferes, it is considered as a third-party obstruction, and the possession of the ball would go to the team who only had one player involved in the third party. The third-party obstruction rule almost often involves a player helping a fellow teammate out by obstructing the opposing team from playing the ball and intercepting it. This is also a foul and will lead to a free hit for the opposing team. 5. How many sides of the hockey stick are you allowed to use? A player can only play the ball using the face of the stick. If you use the back side of the stick, it is a penalty and the other team will gain possession of the ball. 6. Is tackling allowed in hockey? Yes, tackling is allowed. However, you are not allowed to use your body to push the opponent out of the way or block them. In hockey, tackling means you can play the ball and intercept as long as you do not make contact with the other player or his stick. If you do make contact with the attacker, you may be penalized. 7. What are the different ways to score in field hockey? There are only 3 ways you can score in field hockey: by a field goal, a penalty corner, or a penalty stroke. A field goal is scored when a shot is made inside the striking circle, in front of the opponent's goal. If the ball is struck outside the striking circle, it would not be considered as a goal. A penalty corner is awarded when a defender commits an offense within the striking circle or outside the circle but within 25 yards. The defensive team is made up of 4 defenders and 1 goalie. The goal is only counted if the ball travels outside the striking circle and the shot is taken inside it. A penalty stroke can be awarded for many reasons, but the most common would be if a defender commits a foul that directly prevents a goal from being scored. In a penalty stroke, the goalie is the only one who can defend the shot, and a single player at the stroke mark takes the shot. This is much like the penalties awarded in football. 8. What do the different cards in field hockey mean? Similar to many other sports, a player who breaches the rule of the game can be shown a card by the umpire. There are 3 cards that can be awarded: green, yellow and red cards. The green card is the least severe of all. It serves as a warning to players and a reminder not to break the rules. The yellow card has a higher degree of severity, and players can be temporarily suspended from the match for a minimum of 5 minutes. The red card is the most severe of all, and players are permanently suspended from the match, forcing their team to play with fewer players. 9. How long does a hockey match usually last? Field hockey is played in 2 halves. Each half lasts for 35 minutes and the break in between usually runs for 5 to 10 minutes. At the start of each half, a player starts the play by passing the ball from the center of the field. This is the same way play is restarted after a goal is scored. Apart from the player who is making the pass, all other players must be in their defensive half. The team which conceded the goal gains possession of the ball for the restart. 10. How do we determine the winner? Just like most sports, the team that scores the most goals by the end of the match is declared the winner. In the event that the score is tied at the end, either a draw is declared or the game enters extra time or a penalty shootout. Now that you have learned the basic rules of the game, I'm sure you are itching to pick up the hockey stick and play. But wait, there are a few other topics you might want to take note of, such as the playing positions in hockey or how to shoot in hockey. Get all these in your head and you are good to go. Subtypes. Bandy. Bandy is played with the ball on a football pitch-sized ice arena, bandy rink, typically outdoors, and with many rules similar to association football. It is played professionally in Russia and Sweden. The sport is recognized by the IOC. Its international governing body is the Federation of International Bandy. Bandy has its roots in England in the 19th century, was originally called hockey on the ice, and spread from England to other European countries around 1900. A similar Russian sport can also be seen as a predecessor, and in Russia, Bandy is sometimes called Russian hockey. Bandy World Championships have been played since 1957 and Women's Bandy World Championships since 2004. There are national club championships in many countries and the top clubs in the world play in the Bandy World Cup every year. Field hockey. The governing body is the 126-member International Hockey Federation, FIH. Men's field hockey has been played at each Summer Olympic Games since 1908 except for 1912 and 1924, while women's field hockey has been played at the Summer Olympic Games since 1980. Modern field hockey sticks are constructed of a composite of wood, glass fiber or carbon fiber, sometimes both, and are J-shaped, with a curved hook at the playing end, a flat surface on the playing side and a curved surface on the rear side. All sticks are right-handed. Left-handed sticks are not permitted. While field hockey in its current form appeared in mid-18th century England, primarily in schools, it was not until the first half of the 19th century that it became firmly established. The first club was created in 1849 at Blackheath in southeast London. Field hockey is the national sport of Pakistan. It was the national sport of India until the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports declared in August 2012 that India has no national sport. Ice hockey. Ice hockey is played between two teams of skaters on a large flat area of ice, using a 3-inch diameter, 76.2 mm, vulcanized rubber disc called a puck. This puck is often frozen before high-level games to decrease the amount of bouncing and friction on the ice. The game is played all over North America, Europe and to varying extents in many other countries around the world. It is the most popular sport in Canada, Finland, Latvia, the Czech Republic, and Slovakia. Ice hockey is the national sport of Latvia and the national winter sport of Canada. Ice hockey is played at a number of levels, by all ages. The governing body of international play is the 77-member International Ice Hockey Federation, IIHF. Men's ice hockey has been played at the Winter Olympics since 1924, and was in the 1920 Summer Olympics. Women's ice hockey was added to the Winter Olympics in 1998. North America's National Hockey League, NHL, is the strongest professional ice hockey league, drawing top ice hockey players from around the globe. The NHL rules are slightly different from those used in Olympic ice hockey over many categories. International ice hockey rules were adopted from Canadian rules in the early 1900s. The contemporary sport developed in Canada from European and native influences. These included various stick and ball games similar to field hockey, bandy and other games where two teams push a ball or object back and forth with sticks. These were played outdoors on ice under the name hockey in England throughout the 19th century, and even earlier under various other names. In Canada, there are 24 reports of hockey-like games in the 19th century before 1875, 5 of them using the name hockey. The first organized and recorded game of ice hockey was played indoors in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, on 3 March 1875, and featured several McGill University students. Ice hockey sticks are long L-shaped sticks made of wood, graphite, or composites with a blade at the bottom that can lie flat on the playing surface when the stick is held upright and can legally curve either way, for left or right-handed players. Para ice hockey. Ice sledge hockey, or para ice hockey, is a form of ice hockey designed for players with physical disabilities affecting their lower bodies. Players sit on double-bladed sledges and use two sticks. Each stick has a blade at one end and small picks at the other. Players use the sticks to pass, stick handle and shoot the puck, and to propel their sledges. The rules are very similar to IIHF ice hockey rules. Canada is a recognized international leader in the development of sledge hockey, and much of the equipment for the sport was first developed there, such as sledge hockey sticks laminated with fiberglass, as well as aluminum shafts with hand-carved insert blades and special aluminum sledges with regulation skate blades. Inline sledge hockey. Based on ice sledge hockey, inline sledge hockey is played to the same rules as inline puck hockey, essentially ice hockey played off ice using inline skates. There is no classification point system dictating who can play inline sledge hockey, unlike the situation with other team sports such as wheelchair basketball and wheelchair rugby. Inline sledge hockey is being developed to allow everyone, regardless of whether they have a disability or not, to complete up to World Championship level based solely on talent and ability. Citation needed. The first game of organised inline sledge hockey was played at Bisley, England, on 19 December 2009 between the Hull Stingrays and the Grimsby Red Wings. Matt Lloyd is credited with inventing inline sledge hockey, and Great Britain is seen as the international leader in the game's development. Roller hockey, inline. Though inline hockey is considered a variant of roller hockey aka rink hockey, it was derived from ice hockey instead and uses a type of hockey puck or a ball. Both roller games use a type of wheeled skate, but inline hockey uses inline skates rather than roller skates or quads. The puck-based inline variant is more commonly played in North America than Europe, while the ball-based variant is more popular in Europe. Inline hockey puck variant is played by two teams, consisting of 4 skaters and 1 goalie, on a dry rink divided into 2 halves by a center line, with 1 net at each end of the rink. The game is played in 3 15-minute periods with a variation of the ice hockey offside rule. Icings are also called, but are usually referred to as illegal clearing. The governing body is the IIHF, as for ice hockey, but some leagues and competitions do not follow the IIHF regulations, in particular USA Inline and Canada Inline. Roller hockey, quad. Roller hockey, also known as quad hockey, international style ball hockey, rink hockey, and hockey impatins, is an overarching name for a roller sport that uses quad skates. It has existed long before the invention of inline skates. The sport is played in over 60 countries and has a worldwide following. Roller hockey was a demonstration sport at the 1992 Barcelona Summer Olympics. Street hockey. Also known as road hockey, this is a dryland variant of ice and roller hockey played year-round on a hard surface, usually asphalt. A ball is usually used instead of a puck, and protective equipment is not usually worn. Other forms of hockey. Other games derived from hockey or its predecessors include the following. Air hockey is played indoors with a puck on an air cushion table. Beach hockey, a variation of street hockey, is a common sight on Southern California beaches. Ball hockey is played in a gym using sticks and a ball, often a tennis ball with the felt removed. Box hockey is a schoolyard game played by 2 people. The object of the game is to move a hockey puck from the center of the box out through a hole placed at the end of the box, known as the goal. The players kneel facing one another on either side of the box, and each attempts to move the puck to the hole on their left. Broomball is played on an ice hockey rink, but with a ball instead of a puck and a broom, actually a stick with a small plastic implement on the end, in place of the ice hockey stick. Instead of skates, special shoes are used that have very soft rubbery soles to maximize grip while running around. Deck hockey is traditionally played by the Royal Navy on ships' decks, using short wooden L-shaped sticks. Floor hockey, a variety of games with different codes usually played on foot on a flat, smooth floor surface, usually indoors in gymnasiums or similar spaces. Floorball is a form of hockey played in a gymnasium or in a sports hall. A wiffle ball is used instead of a plastic ball, and the sticks are only 1 meter long and made from composite materials. Foot hockey or sock hockey is played using a ball tennis ball or rolled up pair of socks and using only the feet. It is popular in elementary schools in the winter. Gina, 25, is a field hockey sport played in Ethiopia, with which the Ethiopian Christmas festival shares its name. The equipment consists of a straw stick curved at one end, and a ball of 2 kinds, either called through, made out of a rounded piece of hardwood, or TSNG, made by weaving a long strip of leather into a rounded shape. Gym ringet is the off-ice floor variant of the ice skating team sport of ringet rather than ice hockey. It is not a direct variant of the style of floor hockey which helped inspire ringet. Gym hockey aka floor hockey is a form of ice hockey played in a gymnasium. It uses sticks with foam ends and a foam ball or a plastic puck. Hurling and camogie are Irish games bearing some resemblance to and notable differences from hockey. Indoor hockey is an indoor variant of field hockey. Mini hockey, or knee hockey, also known as mini sticks, is a form of hockey played in the United States in the basements of houses. Players kneel and use a miniature plastic stick, usually about 15 inches, 38 centimeters, long, to maneuver a small ball or a soft, fabric-covered mini puck into miniature goals. In England, mini hockey refers to a 7-a-side version of field hockey for younger players, played on an area equivalent to half a normal pitch. Nook hockey is a tabletop version of hockey played with no defense and a small block in front of the goal. Pond hockey is a simplified form of ice hockey played on naturally frozen ice. Power hockey is a form of hockey for persons requiring the use of an electric power wheelchair in daily life. Ringet is primarily a variant of an early 20th century style of floor hockey, but played on ice hockey skates and designed for female players. It uses a straight stick and an air-filled rubber ring in place of a floor hockey puck, open disc. Though played on ice hockey rinks, the rules and strategy differ considerably from those of ice hockey and bear a closer resemblance to basketball. It should not be confused with gym ringet, which is the floor variant of the ice sport. Rink bandy and rinkball are team sports of Scandinavian origin. Both were influenced by bandy, but are played on ice hockey rinks and involve fewer players on each team. Rossel hockey is a variation played at Rossel School on the seashore in the winter months. Its rules are a mix of field hockey, rugby and the Eton Wall game. Shinny is an informal version of ice hockey. Shinty is a Scottish game now played primarily in the Highlands. Skater hockey is a variant of inline hockey, played with a ball. Spundy is a cross between ice hockey and broomball and is most popular in Manitoba, Canada. A stick and puck are used as in hockey. The puck is a softer version called a sponge puck, and the same soft-soled shoes are worn as in broomball. The rules are basically the same as for ice hockey, but one variation has an extra player on the ice called a rover. Table hockey is played indoors on a table. Underwater hockey is played with a weighted puck on the bottom of a swimming pool. Underwater ice hockey is similar to underwater hockey but played with floating puck on the underside of a frozen swimming pool. Unicycle hockey is played on a hard surface using unicycles as the method of player movement. There is generally no dedicated goalkeeper. Important websites and links for more extra information. https://www.realbus.com/articles-interests/articles/the-rules-of-field-hockey/ https://www.chicagowolves.com/game-hockey-101/explanation-of-common-rules/ https://www.whohees.k12.nj.us/page/32621 https://www.sportsnet.ca/hockey/hockey-101/ Select the sections and languages. Very useful websites. https://www.youtube.com/watch?we=Nachschufwink https://www.youtube.com/watch?we=H_70weeks https://www.youtube.com/watch?we=NV2FUNCHECU https://www. Hockey essays, my thoughts related to the game I like. 10 essays in 15 pages only. A. First essay. He takes the puck and skates through a crowd of defensemen. He passes the center line and releases the puck. It's on the net. The red light is on, and it's official. A goal is added to the scoreboard. This sport is ice hockey. Unlike rugby, a specific person did not invent ice hockey. A group of British soldiers created this sport in the mid-1850s. They were stationed in Nova Scotia where they decided to play the sport with sticks made by the Mi'kmaq people of Nova Scotia. In the 1870s, students of McGill University made the rules for modern ice hockey, and the very first indoor game was played in 1875. Today, I will be talking about the history of ice hockey in the NHL, why ice hockey is the best sport ever created, and my favorite NHL team. So, let's start with the basics. Three National Hockey Association, NHA, managers formed the National Hockey League on 26 November 1917 in Montreal, Quebec after the NHA ended. The NHL was a way for the managers to showcase their teams: the Montreal Wanderers, Montreal Canadiens, Ottawa Senators and the Toronto Arenas. The NHL was able to absorb more teams after expanding into the United States. However, in 1942, there were only 6 teams due to the Great Depression. They were known as the Original Six. Their era ended in 1967 when the NHL added more teams. They also divided the league into the Western and Eastern Conference in 1974, and by 2000, they increased to 30 teams. From 1917 to 2013, a lot has changed in the NHL. It's surprising how a dispute can lead to the creation of one of the most prestigious leagues in the world. Ever since I was a child, I watched ice hockey. It has something that no other sport has: teamwork. I think the NHL playoffs best represent this. 2 years ago, when the Boston Bruins won the Stanley Cup, the players were committed in working together, and since they stuck to this, they won the cup. However, it wasn't easy, and this is another reason as to why I love to watch ice hockey. In my opinion, the playoffs in the NHL are more entertaining than in basketball or baseball because it's the hardest league to win a championship. In baseball, there's a shorter series in the first round. In basketball, despite the similarity in format, it doesn't have the blood-spilling or bone-crunching effect, which hockey has. Hockey is equivalent to a war in the playoffs until the final buzzer goes off after the 4th win in a series. All sports offer a high tempo in the postseason. However, ice hockey is a bloody battle for Lord Stanley's Cup, which lasts over 2 months. That's half a season of football. In basketball, I love the Toronto Raptors. In baseball, I am a fan of the Toronto Blue Jays. In ice hockey, I cheer for blue and white, the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think the Toronto Maple Leafs are heading in the right path with the addition of coach Randy Carlyle and the firing of former general manager Brian Burke. An experienced person behind the benches, Randy Carlyle, has allowed the Maple Leafs to rejuvenate their confidence and step in the right direction. We have also seen improvements on the roster with the new face of the team, Dave Nonis, who replaced Burke earlier in January. I believe Nonis is suitable for the general manager job, and with his leadership, I think the Leafs could attain, through trades or free agency, an aggressive offense, balanced defense and experienced goaltenders. These 3 changes are needed to bring Toronto to the playoffs and potentially add a Stanley Cup to Toronto's 13 wins for the trophy. Bill Bennett, an American businessman, once said, "What we find impossible, we later deemed unlikely, and eventually accept as inevitable." Now, you have a new appreciation of ice hockey. It's not an easy sport to play, however, it's the greatest to watch. Since its beginnings in Halifax in the 1850s, it has expanded significantly to become the National Hockey League we know today. The NHL, in my opinion, is the hardest league to win a championship. Also, it's an amazing league to watch ice hockey, and although I enjoy watching all the teams, I'm a huge fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Go Leafs go! B. Second essay. Games are very important to us. They keep our body and mind healthy. A healthy mind continues better. There are many kinds of games played by us. A hockey match is one of them. It is very popular all over the world. Yesterday a hockey match was played between the Rangers school team and our school team. Our school ground was the scene of the match. A large number of students came there to see the match. The referee blew his whistle at 4 p.m. Both the teams entered the ground. The players were in their uniforms. Our team lost the toss. The players were posted by their captains and the match started. The start was dull. Neither team played well. Then the game became interesting. Our players began to play well. The central forward of our team passed the ball on to the captain. The captain rolled it on cleverly and hit the right in. The right in gave a hard hit and scored a goal. The playground resounded with cheers. There was an interval for 10 minutes. The game restarted. The players of the Hindu school team tried their best to equalize with us. But they could not succeed. The time was over and we won the match. See, third essay, value of games. Games and sports are an important factor in education. In the past, there was no provision for them in Indian schools and colleges. But now no educational institution is complete without some arrangement for different games and sports. Games and sports have many advantages. They improve health and help in building up a good body. As games are played in the open air, the body gets plenty of sunshine and fresh air. The value of good health is well expressed in the proverb, a sound mind in a sound body. Hockey, football, and other games provide better health than walks can. Games have another advantage. They develop a spirit of comradeship. Students do not play for themselves only but for the team as a whole. Thus a sportsman develops a broad outlook and learns the value of cooperative work. These habits prove highly useful in life. Games often help in entering life. A good player is generally preferred to a bookworm with no interest in games. Extraordinary players choose games as their profession in life. Sometimes they are selected to represent their country in international tournaments or Olympic Games. Thus, games are very important to us. They keep our mind and body healthy. The games give strength to our body to fight against different kinds of diseases. So we must play different kinds of games. D. Fourth essay. Last Sunday our hockey team played a wonderful match against Youth Hockey Club. All of them were wearing beautiful red and white kits. The match started at 9 a.m. In first half, the Youth Club controlled the game for the first 10 minutes. They scored a fantastic goal against our team. Their supporters raised slogans. Our team made a terrific move and fought back. They continued attacking for the next 20 minutes. Our center forward scored a wonderful goal just before the end of the first half. The score was equal up to break. When the second half started, our forward kept the ball in their control. Our team played like a team and attacked many times on the opposition. The viewers were flying many flags and singing excited songs. Supporters of either team wanted some more goals to make the match a decisive end. Both teams played very well. They got many opportunities to lead the score. Match remained thrilling till the end of the second half. Just before the final whistle of the match, our center forward took the ball. He reached the top, D, of the opposition side. He passed the ball to the outside left who dispatched it towards the goal with a flick. One of our players, who was standing near the goal, tapped the ball to score the winning goal. The crowd went wild at the victory of our team. In the end, prizes were distributed and we came back victoriously. E. Fifth essay. F. Sixth essay. Hockey is ranked as my favorite game. The game is the most interesting outdoor game in my view, as there is too much life and energy going on in the game. Hockey keeps all the players busy, both physically as well as mentally. This is a very popular game all over the world and considered as the national sport of my country, India. In this sport, there are two teams who play against each other and they both try to score by posting the goal in the goalpost. At present, there are different forms of hockey, i.e. field hockey, ice hockey, roller hockey, sledge hockey, and even street hockey. India made an impressive record with many Olympic gold medals. In the year 1928 to 1956, this is known as the golden era of hockey in India. India won 6 consecutive gold medals in this Olympic Games. G. Seventh essay. Hockey is a famous outdoor game and national game of India. It is played with a hockey stick and a ball. The years 1928 to 1956 are considered as the golden period of hockey in India, when India won 6 Olympic gold medals. Dhyanchand is considered a star of hockey, and has contributed to winning India in the hockey matches. Dhanraj Pillai was another popular and famous player of Indian hockey, who was also the captain of Indian hockey team, who won Arjuna Award for hockey. Although the game has not been officially declared as the national game of India, it is considered a national game as the country has won many gold medals in hockey. It is a very fast game and the players are constantly running around the ground hitting the ball, and it is very amazing to watch and play. Playing hockey improves physical strength and stamina. It improves concentration as the players have to be alert all the time during the game, as the situation of the game changes every minute, along with the movement of the ball. It encourages team spirit as it is team play and all the team members must have a good understanding between them throughout the game. Any misunderstanding or discrepancy among the players would cost them a huge loss. Hockey is a very fast and spontaneous game. There are 11 players in each team and they all have a stick in their hand which is curved at the end to hit the ball. The objective of hockey is to hit the ball with the stick into a goal. The team which hits the goal is awarded a point and the team with the most goals is declared as the winner. The stick can be turned on either side for hitting the ball, but the player is supposed to use only the curved side of the stick. The ball can be dribbled or passed only using the stick and no other part of the body should come into contact with the ball. Any player found trying to hit the other opponent with the stick or using hand or leg to hit the ball or hit the stick of the opponent is considered as foul. The game requires very good stamina, mental alertness and physical strength. By constant practice, the players can achieve a high degree of stability and expertise in the game. Players are running around the field throughout the game and they must be very alert. Any minute the game can change its position. There are many forms of hockey like field hockey, beach hockey, ice hockey, mini hockey, roller hockey, street hockey. In India, field hockey is the most popular. Ice hockey is played in many Western countries. Hockey has gained popularity in many countries and has a keen competition at international level. Hockey has many state levels and national levels competitions in schools and colleges. The Indian women's national field hockey team is ranked 9th in field hockey rankings, FIH, and is nicknamed as Nubvan. In 2002 India won the gold medal in the Commonwealth Games led by Captain Surajlata Devi. In 2003 India won Asian Cup at Kuala Lumpur. India stands on 5th position in FIH World Rankings as of January 2019. Hockey needs to be given a lot of encouragement from the government and more young people must be encouraged to play the game. As the country has good players, they need support and encouragement. It is because of lack of interest and facilities many people restrain themselves from playing the game. If proper guidance and facilities are provided, India would provide more talented hockey players and the golden era of hockey can return. All the schools and colleges should also participate in the game and train their students to play the game on state and national levels. Hockey is one of the oldest games and has a bright history and has now become dormant due to lack of interest and support. Few years back one could see many youngsters playing the game at the streets or playgrounds but could not continue it due to lack of proper coach and training. Hockey India League has planned to implement some effective strategies to expand hockey teams. These types of strategies are required more and more. Government, parents, students and everyone should come forward to participate and restore India's long-lost legacy. 8th essay. Field hockey is a widely played team sport in our country. It is played on grass, artificial or watered turf, or synthetic fields. Each team has 10 players and a goalkeeper. Hockey is played with a curved stick. The aim is to move the ball forward with the curved end of the stick and score a goal. The strikers are exceptionally skilled at hitting the targets so that their shots successfully enter the goal post. The goalkeeper has the responsibility of obstructing the goals the opposite team seeks to score. Hockey is a sport that requires a lot of practice and dedication. Hockey is usually played on a rectangular field, and it is an outdoor sport. The goalkeeper wears a heavily padded jersey and helmets and stands in front of the goal post with a curved hockey stick. A hockey stick sort of looks like the alphabet, J. The goalkeeper has to wear protective suits because the ball, when struck with the hockey stick, rushes towards the goal post at a very high speed, and lack of padded suit may cause severe injuries. The game always starts with a toss between the captains of the two teams. The person who wins the toss can either select his side of the field or choose to pass it first. The game is played for 75 minutes in each session. There are 2 rounds of 35 minutes each and 1 break in between the 2 series. This time is used for medications, strategic planning, treatment, etc. The teams take their positions on respective fields, and one side makes a center pass. The game continues as the crews pass the ball to each other, try to keep their opponents away from the ball, and seek to score goals. In the end, the team with the higher number of goals wins the match. In case of a draw between the groups, 1 minute of extra time is awarded initially. If the teams still cannot score and the draw remains unresolved, then a shootout happens. In a shootout, 3 members from each team get a penalty stroke. The team that scores more is declared to be the winners of the match. Both men and women in India play field hockey. India's women's hockey team struggled to get a place in this man's world. But they never gave up and kept trying with their strength and determination. Hockey requires vigorous practice and professional training. Individuals who play hockey professionally have to work day and night to earn their titles. They put in inhuman amounts of effort and insane hours of practice before they bring back glory to their countries. Apart from field hockey, there is also ice hockey that is played on ice skating rinks. Bandy, roller hockey, street hockey are all various types of hockey played. It is of great pride for our country that hockey is our national sport. 9th essay: sticks on ice. What is your favorite sport? Now that is a fairly common question that virtually everyone in the world will be faced with at some time in their lives. My response, though, will always be hockey. No other sport can compare to the sheer intensity felt in every second of every minute of every NHL hockey game. The speed of this simple game is breathtaking and keeps fans and players alike on the edge of their seats. A goal here, an injury there, they all know the outcome can change in the blink of an eye. NHL hockey is the most unpredictable and advanced game of any major sport in the world, and that is why it never fails to draw crowds of people back to it every season. For those of you who just have no interest in sports, perhaps hockey is the game that will intrigue you to take some step into the world of sports. Now it would not be fair exactly to just start by belittling every other sport out there, since I am a fan of many sports besides just hockey. Take baseball, for instance. It is America's pastime, and just about the most well-known sport in America. Anybody can play it, young or old. Just go outside and play some catch with your dad, your friend, your brother, or just yourself. It is a perfect family game that everyone can enjoy. The same applies for soccer, the most popular sport in the world, an electrifying sport that entertains everybody yet is so simple. The object is to put the ball into the opposing team's goal, a trivial task that provides tremendous entertainment by how difficult the other team makes it to accomplish that goal. But regardless of the thrill of those sports, hockey always comes out on top as the definition of excitement. The spectacular dekes, raw hits, and unpredictability shape the greatest game out there. Now, one could possibly argue the aspect of hockey being a fast, difficult to comprehend game compared to other sports, leaving them to find hockey uninteresting. In fact, this is a very misleading argument. The rules of hockey are quite simple compared to other sports. In baseball, there are numerous aspects that could leave you scratching your head, wondering what on earth is going on. Take the drop third strike rule for instance, or the infield fly rule. Unless you are a strong follower of baseball, those terms could easily sound like gibberish to you. Another example would have to be football, one of the most confusing penalty systems in all of sports. Penalties such as the tuck system and receiver eligibility would require some research or inquisition for a newcomer to football. In the simple rules of hockey, most rules are blatant and do not require any outside information on the sport. Rules such as slashing with your stick, are obvious. Interference, interfering in a play, and hooking someone with your stick. All of these rules are defined in themselves and fairly simply. Using the idea that hockey is too hard to follow as an argument is just a lack of effort to explore the game on a person's part. Nice par. Another thumbs up for hockey is fighting. How many other sports do you see where fighting is not only allowed, but encouraged by the fans? The NHL has it right, letting two players with growing tempers duke it out on the ice not only for themselves but for the entertainment of the spectators. In sports such as baseball, fighting could lead to heavy fines and major benching punishments. It never crosses a player's mind to actually start going off on another player unless it is out of true anger. At that point though, players usually have enough composure to restrain themselves, but not for hockey. It is a bitter, teeth-grinding war on the ice and sometimes the fights just break loose, and the players go at it, providing that much more thrill. What about those who are not thrilled by fighting? One key element of the NHL that sets it aside from other sports is its sudden death overtime system. It has to be the 5 most suspenseful, anticipating minutes of any sport. The NFL allows a 15-minute overtime that gives each team a fair chance to win. The MLB allows an entire extra inning that, once again, gives each team a fair shot at taking home the win. The NBA, surprisingly enough, shows these events repeat themselves in a full extra quarter that allows each side to try their hand at a win. The NHL is the only sport whose game could end in an instant with just one goal. Granted, the NFL has the same standard of, whoever scores first wins. The NHL does not leave it up to a coin toss to see who gets the advantage at the start of overtime. It is a completely balanced, fair sudden death overtime. And if that isn't enough, the infamous NHL shootout will be the ultimate decision maker for the winner. The best against the best, one-on-one, mono y mono. Same as soccer. The single greatest aspect of hockey that sets it aside from other sports though is how different each player plays the game. Wayne Gretzky's gameplay and creativity were so different from that of Alexander Ovechkin. Jim Craig's style of goaltending is not comparable to Curtis Josephson's. They are worlds apart. Every player's slap shot varies, every player's skating style varies, even their sticks are custom designed by each player. The near uniqueness of the game is phenomenal and people like that. It only adds to the excitement when you see a player do something and you think to yourself, wow, I have never seen anything like that. Not true of LeBron James. Hockey sets itself apart from most sports thanks to a variety of reasons including its unpredictability that most other sports lack. In terms of rules, hockey may not be the easiest to comprehend, but it definitely is capable of understanding with relative ease. Players going toe-to-toe in the game also boosts hockey's thrill with the entertaining fights, and hockey's sudden death ranks as number 1 on the list of exciting overtimes compared to the simple continuing of the game in other sports. Last but not least, the creative flow and originality of the game are the sum of the advantages of hockey. It can't be summed up in just one word, but it is simply the best. Hockey, without a doubt, is not only the most fascinating sport there is, but it is also the most innovative and creative game to have ever been played professionally. Have you discussed and supported the creative and innovative side of hockey? It is the greatest sport on the planet, and if you don't believe me, go watch an NHL game in person. Jake, some good arguments here, especially in par. 3 Paragraph 6 is a strong idea. Make sure to support the claim this is different from other sports. You would benefit from a strong emotional appeal, something that shows you loving the game, a love and excitement you cannot find in other sports. The thrill of fighting is still a problematic part. Remembering that your audience is hostile or neutral, fighting might be exactly what turns them off to the sport. Is it implied you think basketball and baseball would be better sports if every team carried an enforcer and brawling was an acceptable part of the game? If fighting is so thrilling, why not just go with boxing as the sport? Think about what the overall criteria should be for evaluating a sport, fighting, overtime rules, uniqueness, etc., and see which ones are the most important for Information Catalog, 30 pages